We screwed up, guys. We have to drain the loop. A temp sensor failed, and it just so happens to be the temp sensor that is in the loop. You can see that little plug fitting under there on the T. Well, that temp sensor doesn't work. It was showing 650 degrees or something, Celsius, and then it stopped working altogether. So, yeah, I certainly believe this was our fault. We screwed up. I think when I was tightening it, I let it twist just one time, and it was enough to probably break one of the wires or something. So, always something that we're very careful of, but just because it was so tight under there in this system, and we had a lot of trouble getting some of the cables in. If you look under here, you know, you can see we've had to plug into the back of the Aquara there, and it's really taken us a lot of time balancing connectors on the ends of our fingers. I mean, it's always something that you have to do in custom PCs like this when you have custom cables all the way through. So we'll take a look around the back and I'll try to show you a little bit more about what I mean. So of course everything looks really clean, like there's hardly anything here, but to get it like that is painstaking. It takes days, even weeks. You can see we have an extra couple of SATA data there because we're going to have SSDs, but look down there, I mean, everything is hard up against the FAB work, which is just there, and then hard up against the Aquara, which is above it. It hasn't been easy. This time, when I replace that temp sensor, I'm not going to run. So actually, just to give you an example of where it's come from, you know, look at this. Look at this bundle here. We have to manage all of this. It all has to be plugged in. None of this is done yet, and it's only really the beginning of the cables. We have some cables laying out here, but there's probably 30 or so more to actually still build. Even though we have the core components cables built, which are laying out here, that's only a little part of it. So, just because of that temp sensor not working, we are going to have to drain the loop to replace it. Because, yeah, it's a plug in the coolant. So that is what we are going to do now.
You get crucified.
Absolutely.
Oh, this is a bitch. My 4 splits.
4 splits.
And 250 mil. And they're all going like, if you look at this, 1, 18, 2, 22, 4, 7, that's just...
Alright, Sven, can you hold this tube in the...
Right. This is done.
Just
pray to the gods of cables.
You better pray to Poseidon right now that we don't get a leak.
Yeah, hold on.
Or whatever idol you think deserves our respects and admiration. Maybe the Prince of Darkness. Come on, let's do this. I'm keen to get this loop drained, so just hold that down, because once it comes around, the weight's going to go there, and it's going to go...
Okay.
And it's going to come out quite quickly in a lot of it, because we have dual reservoirs. Now I've got to get my fingers in here and undo this thing.
Should I even hold my hand here on the top?
Oh.
Good.
My hands are sore from yesterday doing this build, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Now our problem is draining that reservoir. There we go. That's what I thought. It's under suction, so we're good. We are good. So we didn't screw up. It's absolute perfection, guys. Loving this. Actually, you know what?
What?
That's going to probably overflow.
Most likely.
Yeah, it's definitely going to overflow. Alright, I'll get another container.
Yeah.
It's got a dirty looking saucepan. The inside of it is clean though. Okay, so do a switch.
Yeah, move that thing a little bit away.
Coolness. This actually won't take very long. Once we get that plug out, yeah, I'll let some more air in. There it goes. It's going to fly now. Alright, so we just get a little container, because we're never going to get it fully drained, so we just don't have a choice. We are going to definitely get quite a bit out of here. It's already started. There we go. It won't take as long to get back up and running, because with Pastel the air comes out super quick, because the suspended particles make it heavier, and the weight of the nanofluid just pushes the air out immediately. That's one of the benefits of a nanofluid. The air is only in the loop for, I don't know, less than an hour, whereas with normal fluid, the air could be in the loop for 24 hours depending on the loop. The other benefit of a nanofluid is better cooling performance. You know what?
Now we have to get the pumps running.
Not without removing like almost everything from the bottom.
No, I don't want to go through that process again.
No, we're going to boot it. Now, I'm going to disconnect the drainage system because we know already that this thing is safe to fill. Normally I would leave the drainage system connected just in case we get a leak, so that we can rapidly drain it if we run into problems. But this loop has already been leak tested, it's already been up and running for 48 hours. We've actually started testing the system, started overclocking and playing around, so yeah, it's had plenty of time. Goodness. Look at that thing go.
Beauty.
Okay, let's feel. No, I've actually got suction here, which makes sense.
Oh, we actually have to connect the temp sensor.
We do.
Yeah.
That's why the fans are running at full RPM again.
Yeah. But it would be cool to show in camera now, just the difference it makes, because we already had this running at low RPM and it's just, you can't even hear anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't hear the system.
Yeah, right now it's just a tornado.
I mean, that's always the way with our builds. You can never hear them.
What the ambient temperature we have in here anyways?
Okay, let me guess. Hang on, 31.8.
31.3.
Now, this is something that you can plug in while it's running because you can't short the temp sensor. Okay, this is one of the easier plugs to do.
There.
That is so quiet. You see?
What temperatures do we
That
looking at?
shows how we've set this up for people who don't understand the curves and what the curves are based on.
Alright, just a reminder, we had a 31.3 ambient and the CPU is just stuck there, well, 33, 35. And it's not going to go much higher. I mean, of course we just booted, but look at those temps.
You can see the motherboard is 33 because of the mono block, similar to the CPU, but then we have PCIe temps on this board as well, but the PCH is 48 and it's actually liquid cooled, but this monoblock has only copper on the CPU and MOSFET area. The PCH area has no flow through it and it's not copper, it's actually aluminium. So far less conductivity, no coolant flow in that area. That's why it's so much hotter. Plus the PCH on a lot of these boards gets really hot anyway. I'm not sure why, but yeah, everything else at idle at least is only 2 degrees above ambient. Same with the GPUs, but that's quite normal. But try to just take a listen to this thing and see if you can actually hear anything at all. So all you can hear probably is the air in those pumps. Once that air is gone, you won't be able to hear them. It'll be totally silent. But yeah, we've fixed that temp sensor, and now we can actually pick it up in AquaSuite. So let's have a look at that. Controller. So basically this is the fan curve that the temp sensor we just fixed is necessary for. So we have over here coolant 31.4, and that is what this curve is based on for all 5 of the radiator fans. And you can see right now they're running at 800 RPM roughly, which is why they're inaudible. So most of the time this is how the fans will actually run. It's only when it really starts to crank up, like the coolant temp has to pretty much get all the way up to 40 degrees before it starts to, the RPMs start to really get anywhere. 50 degrees they reach 100%, but even at 1500 RPM these fans are still very quiet. Anyway, it only really took about 10 minutes to fix our little screw up, so that was pretty good. Thanks for watching.